called mentors. You know, you might go to them and say, I'm in the manufacturing business. They go, oh, Bob, you know, he was with manufacturing, he retired from such, and they'll hook you up with Bob and kind of help you out there. But they're a great group too. There is on Facebook, there is a Facebook page, Center for Rural Entrepreneurships. And so if you go on to Facebook, who's on Facebook? Right. Yeah, got a few people on Facebook. You know, Facebook, and particularly for us older folks, I got to tell this funny story. So we have a lot of people in Kentucky Highlands who've been here many years. I'm not going to say we're old, but we've had people who've been here many years. But we've got a few young folks on staff too. And so we were having a staff meeting one day, and I think I brought up a thing of Facebook. We were getting ready to put up a Facebook site, and one of the folks who's pretty fresh out of college, she goes, Facebook used to be fun till all those old people got on it. Well, I get on it not to necessarily reconnect with old friends, but there's a lot of good groups that have Facebook sites on there, and they just throw out some information every once in a while. One of them that I like is the Center for Rural Entrepreneurship. And they put out a lot of good articles, so I don't feel like I have to go read every magazine or everything, so I have liked them. But we also, the Big Center, Kentucky Highlands, if you get on your Facebook account and put in Big Center, like us there, and what I do is I post not only our training classes we do here, but other training classes that might be in the area. When I find good articles, I post them on there too. So, you know, if you're an entrepreneur and you don't want to sit and pile through Entrepreneur and Inc. and do all that yourself, I'm doing it anyway. And I'll put articles out there that I think are important to us down here in southeastern Kentucky. So I do that. There's also another organization, it's funded by the state, and that's what are called the Innovation and Commercialization Centers. Today, the closest one is up at Eastern Kentucky University. And they also really help, they're kind of focused towards businesses that are fast growth technology. They don't deal necessarily with folks who are just, you know, running a local retail store and that kind of stuff. But they can get you plugged in too. They're very well aware of the grants and things that are available. We're hoping come July that we're going to be designated as an ICC down here too, which just means we're going to have better relationships with the state in terms of, you know, their grant money and that kind of stuff. But we've applied for it. They said we're going to get it, but nothing's official until July. So, but right now it's up at Eastern Kentucky. But you can find out about those guys at startupkentucky.org. All right. So those are some good resources for you that I've kind of piled through over the past few years. I think this is the last thing I wanted to talk about. Just to kind of finish up this entrepreneurship conversation. And I'm not going to read these to you. You can read what's on the board here. These are just some fun quotes I found about entrepreneurship. But as I'm out talking to people, and you know, probably the thing that I hear discourages people the most from starting their own business are things like I mentioned earlier. Gosh, all the paperwork about, you know, taxes and all that stuff I have to deal with. Or you know, I need health insurance. I can't start my own business. Or I need a retirement plan. You know, I just can't. I can't start my own business. Understandable. All those things, the things the big companies tout as, you know, reasons for going to work for them. But the reality is, all that stuff can be had even through a small business. All right. I go back to the paperwork and taxes and that kind of stuff. If you're running a successful small business, you can get help to do that kind of stuff. All right, you don't have to do it yourself. As I said before, once you learn how to do it, it's really not that difficult. And you know, once you learn how to do it and you ask a few questions, I know this sounds crazy, but I have found if you call the local state government or the local city government, you call the local state government. Now, the feds are a whole other story, IRS. But the local people are very, very helpful. You know, if you say, and you know, like when I was running my business, I'd get a notice like, oh, you know, another notice that I'm behind on my taxes. And I thought we paid them. You call them, they'll sit. I went up one time and they sat down. I mean, it was a less than $100 issue, and that guy sat down with me for an hour and figured it out. As long as you talk to them, that's all they want. If you ignore them, they get angry. If you run into a tax situation, or you fudged some piece of paperwork and you get a notice from them, call them. They want to help you. It's not that difficult. And people just make it like it's there's some big ogre in Frankfurt that's ready to just chew them up. It's not the case. They're helpful in Frankfurt even, right? IRS is more difficult, but IRS is actually very simple, and you pay your taxes on time and they're happy, so you don't get a whole lot of mess from them. So I want to dispel that too. If that's the reason, you may be sitting around thinking, I'm still not sure if I want to get in business, let that one go. As I mentioned earlier, there is a ton of help. Folks like myself, Kentucky Highlands, Mesa, SCED, the SBDCs, state government, people want you to start businesses. They want to help you. The only thing they don't do is write you checks. That's what everybody thinks they do. They don't do that, but they'll give you all sorts of help to get your business started. You just got to ask. The issue of health insurance. I discovered something, and this is just my own personal story, but that was one of the things that bothered me too. I always thought, my health insurance has always been paid for by these big companies. I just go in, I make a copay, and I'm done. I don't have to worry about it. Well, when I got out on my own, I was single at the time and starting my own business, and I started looking into it a little bit. There was a thing called catastrophic health insurance. It was really, really cheap. I said, so what does that do? Well, that takes care of you if you get diagnosed with a deadly disease, cancer or something like that, or you need some major surgery, or you're in a car wreck or whatever. And I said, well, that's kind of what I needed. At the time, I'd go to the doctor, once a year. I go to the dentist twice a year, and that's, unless I had an accident, or I come up with cancer, that's all I was doing. I didn't have any, ongoing diseases or problems or anything. Catastrophic insurance would cover me. And it was about 1/10 of the price of getting full medical coverage. I went, hello? So that's what I did for many years until I ended up with a family. Okay? So and you can still get, although albeit expensive, you can still get health insurance as an individual. You still have to you have to pay premiums and all that stuff, but you can get yourself covered. Where I don't get is people who say, if I start my own business, I won't have any health care coverage. Yeah, you will. It's going to cost you something. But the whole idea is you're hoping that you have a product or a service or something that if you sell enough of it, you can afford to pay that medical insurance, right? Okay. I always tell the folks coming out of college, I'm like, catastrophic insurance. You guys are healthy. That'll cover you. That's all you need. And I always tell them, I said, well, I like to go to the doctor once a year. I tell you what, get friendly with your doctor. They don't charge you the same thing they charge the insurance companies. They'll go, just give me $50 and we'll call it even. So they'll take cash. I've proven that. And then the whole issue of retirement. And I can only, again, use my own example. So I quit my cushy corporate job in '96 and finally got from the proceeds of the sale of my business, got the final check 3 weeks ago. So I went for that long until I started working here again, not having any type of retirement plan, not putting any money away from retirement. But when I sold my business, that check was nice enough that I could put that right into retirement. That was my retirement plan. That was what I was banking on. So was it a little riskier than going to work for a big corporation? Yep. But I say I'll take the risk. I would never go work for a big company again. That's just me. So entrepreneurs have that kind of mentality, I think. They think, I can make this for myself. I can make my own retirement. But when I have an entrepreneur come in with that kind of attitude, that's when I always push back. I'm going to say, do your research. Make sure you know what you're doing. This is not for the faint-hearted. I mean, it's tough. I can tell you that exactly where I was and what I was doing. I was going to a basketball game. I was needing probably $5 for parking, and I went, oops, only got 2. So I went up to the ATM, and I went, dip, 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 dip. I had 11 cents in my checking account, and that was the 11 cents. That was the last 11 cents I had in my name, and that was when I was running my business, because I was footing the payroll sometimes, and I was doing, a lot of my personal money was going into the business. That was the last 11 cents, and I had to park and walk in. It's a humbling experience, but things eventually worked out for me. But like I said, it's not for the faint of heart if you're going to run your own business. So anyway, I think a lot of those things I hear of why I don't start a business, the only one that's true is it's going to be hard work. I think all the other stuff you can get through if you're willing to put the work into it. So hopefully you've read these quotes. These are some quotes I picked up. The one I didn't put a name to is this last one down at the bottom corner. It says, an entrepreneur has boundless optimism kept in check by constant panic. Who do you think said that? Jim Carroll. I did. That's what I felt like. I mean, I had to be optimistic every day I walked into work, and I had a team of people I was working with, and everything's great. Come on, we can do it. And all the time I'm going, all right, what's my competition doing? Am I right? Am I got my product price right? Am I doing enough marketing? Am I, so that's what you are. I mean, you've got to keep that optimism, but always keep it in check by being cautious of what you're doing. And it has to be a good blend. It's one way or the other. It doesn't work. If you're all optimism and you're not paying attention to things that you need to, your business is probably going to fail. Or if you're just so conservative that you're not willing to stick your neck out occasionally and be optimistic, you'll probably fail too. So it's that nice combination of the two that tend to make good entrepreneurs. So, all right, with that, I think that's all. So we're actually finishing a little early, but we're going to take a break before the workshop. But I do encourage you, if you're going to take off, number one, grab a biscuit before you go, because I think there were some left. Pay attention to your email. We'll send you emails to let you know when the training classes are coming up again. Or I really encourage you to, if you're a Facebook fan, to go to Facebook and if you just put in Big Center, we'll pop up. And just like us. And that'll keep you up to date as well and give you some news information. And you can also go to our website at bigcenter.org and kind of see what we're all about and get more information on us there. Out on the, I think I put at your place a little pamphlet here that tells you what we do at the Big Center. And I also put something with a little more detail out here on this table there that actually has rates and that kind of stuff. I encourage you to come see me. I always tell people I give you enough in these training classes to make you nervous, all right? And hopefully you'll come see me and I'll calm you down. But we want to help folks who want to get businesses started, and I'll be glad to sit down and talk to you about what you're doing one-on-one. And if you decide to engage me as a kind of a full-time coach, full-time your time, not my time, but you want to engage me as your coach, we'll set it up and I'll start working with you. So encourage you to do that too. But hopefully we'll see you back here. What's the third Thursday next month? March the, you can find it fast. 15th. And that session we call Keeping It Legal. And we're talking about all the kind of legal things that you need to be concerned about your business. We're actually going to have an attorney here who's going to be presenting the class. And she's actually a resident next door over here. Her specialty when she was practicing law for a big law firm was patents, trademarks, copyrights, that kind of stuff. Now, but she has a passion for entrepreneurs and has worked with a lot of small companies on all general, law issues. So she's a great asset to have here. She's from London originally and is kind of moving back here after being in Louisville and went to the West Coast for a while, and she's getting some roots back here again. So she'll be here to do that on March 15th, so I encourage you to come back to that. You always learn something from an attorney. You'll get probably $2,000 worth of legal advice all for free that day. So it's worth coming. And she'll take your questions and answer your questions and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. So with that, the workshop, again, I will start that here at about 10:30. And again, what we're going to do, we're actually going to go through and talk very high level about if you're ready to start your company, whether you want to do an LLC or stay a sole proprietor. We're going to talk about that. And then I don't think I've got anybody in here that is just, today you're ready to jump on there and start their LLC. I would have done it live, gone on the Secretary of State's website and done somebody's live, but I've got an example on the computer. So I'll show you how easy it is to get on her website and get through that process. It's really not that difficult. So we'll do that for another hour after we take about a 5